YouTube, we are live. We are here with day 2 of Layers of Fear. Not with game 2, but day 2. We are playing the Inheritance DLC. Let's turn this down, actually, for 1 second. Let me read what it says on Steam before we start. What does the DLC say? Oh, it does actually expand the plot of the first game. I did not know that. So, DLC came out in 2016. It says, I'm home, father. Layers of Fear Inheritance expands the plot from Layers of Fear and tells the story of the painter's daughter, who comes back to her childhood home to face her past. Oh, wow. So the kid came back, which she did escape. The wife left him as well. So the child is back. All right. Sec. So this completely connects the main story. I wonder if it's going to be the finale of the story, because the thing is, the first game ended in 3 ways. It ended with you not being satisfied with the painting and driving yourself even more insane. It ended with you being so infatuated with yourself that your magnum opus is just you and you live on eternally in like an art gallery as like a picture. Not that you become the picture, but your work, you know, lives on. And the other one is the acceptance, I suppose, of where you lose your wife, you lose your daughter, and I guess knowing that they're not going to come back, you kill yourself, which is pretty grim. I believe those are the endings. So this DLC is with the daughter coming back home to see what happened, I guess to her father. So let's see what it's about. Finish it is so ominous.
When I was a child,
It is, yeah.
I used to lay in bed late at night, staring at the ceiling, listening to my father scream.
Jeez.
Scream at my mother.
Yeah, he was a freak.
Scream at yet another failed masterpiece.
He went insane.
Finally, just scream out into the darkness. It became my lullaby.
Jesus.
And even when they took me away, the screams followed.
Child
I
support?
was once told that insanity runs in my family. It's time to make it stop.
When they took me away, wait, did child support come and get the kid? Maybe? Sickness, insanity, and death were the angels that surrounded my cradle, and they have followed me throughout my life. Edward Munch. Ink? Flashlight. Oh my god. Well, we are in the exact same home. Let me know if the game is too low. I can change that, but back home. Okay, then. I think it is too low. What is this? My beloved, I've been thinking about what happened. I've been trying to understand. My dear, help me. I just don't understand. Why would you do it? Do you feel like there was no other way? Tell me, goddammit. What did I do to deserve this? I did my best, you know I did. I gave you everything. You selfish fucking whore. Why would you do this to us? Yeah, I think the father went insane. And by the intro of the daughter saying what she said and what we've seen, I agree. The dad's a freak. Okay. So, man, look at this place. He really just tore it all apart. Were there squatters?
Still
Ew.
life.
Yum. Oh, Christ, he let it go and in the toilet. Jesus. The water's disconnected. Everything is gone.
reeks in here.
If it's too low, folks, let me know. It reeks in here. This kind of reminds me of still...
I swear, that dog doesn't shut up!
What the fuck? The doggy! No! Oh!
How the hell did you get out? Go on, get out of here! Before I find a way to keep you in there for good.
Jesus. The father. Wait. Well, I don't know what that is. I don't think the dad cooked the dog, but jeez, okay. Clearly the dog was in the pantry. The father was a piece of shit. Yeah, for sure. Too obsessed with his work. A note? Nope. So I believe what we should be finding is like the remnants of our father's ramblings. All of the shit he tried to like write down before he probably killed himself. Well, technically we don't even know the canon ending of the game. Because there's 3 endings to this game, so what is the canon ending? Even if there is one? I guess this DLC is going to show us the canon ending of what happened to the father, right, maybe? Odd. Father? I just realized the timer is not moving. Oh, there we go. You know, it's always interesting to revisit a game for its DLC if it wraps up the story. Oh, it's the mother. Mama!
No, I told you never to come down here!
That's my mom. So the father controlled her, like, quite thoroughly. That's the mother. What a life. That's what you could even call this. Maybe it uses your ending. I don't know. Maybe there is kind of a canon ending. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Kirkstein, I once again implore you to give me my daughter back. Give her back, 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 with best regards. So, we were adopted by a different family, I assume? Child support took her away and then new family got her? And now that we're old enough, we can come back here and just see what went on? Okay. So we don't want to go in here yet. Oh, maybe do we? Oh, no we don't. Not yet. The mice! Oh god, the mouse traps.
This place is a mess.
I can hear you in there. I'm coming, you furry little bastards. You're not getting away this time.
Let me go! Oh, no!
What the hell are you doing in there? Get out!
With such a big house, I mean, listen, you've got money. Where's the nanny? That was her hiding away in the closet. Are those eyes? No, this is the DLC.
What's wrong with this thing?
You know what? We should probably check the study. You know what door was locked the entire time? Was the wolf door. Yeah, there's nothing in here.
I wonder when was the last time this place saw sunlight?
The gout goblin. Big fucking crayon. Let's use a paintbrush or a crayon. I mean, paintbrush, right? Both?
Oh, the summer trees. So green and vibrant and full of life, but also young and inexperienced.
Bob
Let's
Ross.
try to find them a more poignant season.
No! Put that down! You were doing so well! What are you doing? Put that down! You're much too old for that childish nonsense.
Jeez. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what about the rest of the house?
Finally! Are you ready to embrace true art?
Oh, the summer trees. So green and vibrant and full of life, but also young and inexperienced. Let's try to find them a more poignant season.
Oh,
Where they are wiser, have some stories to tell.
God. Well, what about the crayon? I want to use the
No!
crayon.
Put that
Fuck
down.
you, father.
What are you doing? Put that down!
No.
You're much too old for that childish nonsense.
Listen, our childhood was robbed by our father. So fuck that guy. Yes. The road closed. Danger, snake. Let me out!
Creativity is not a toy, it's a gift. Do you want to squander it like all
Was that a
those
snake right
careless
there? Look at that
brats
thing.
out there?
Oh. No, the horsey.
I warned you time and time again. I won't let you waste time on these mindless doodles. This is for your own good.
Or horse. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, the snake's coming. Wait, so we're also a schizophrenic? Apples. Ooh. Now what? Fuck. Am I a bird? What is this? Am I part of the painting? What is that? A baby! Ew. Okay then. Who is Bob Ross trolling? What is this? Oh. Shit. Can't get down. Is he chopping the tree down? Oh God, let me be! The logging company. Oh God. What? Christ. Can a girl not sit in her tree? Oh, there's another crayon.
Are you trying to annoy me? This is not what I've taught you.
You know, so this DLC is called Inheritance, right? What we've come into, what we've been given. It's very interesting that you get to go in two different directions where if you want to paint with oils, you can do that and a brush. But it looks like what we're doing is instead painting as a child, right? Like we don't accept... we don't really accept our father. And that's kind of the goal, no? I believe? Yeah, I don't think we're going to follow in his footsteps. He was pretty abusive. I mean, really obsessive as well with what he was doing, so yeah, we're good. What is that? Oh. Paper. Your dad took it. The sword. Okay. So where was the canvas? Yeah. All we wanted to be was happy with Mom, not with Dad. Fuck. How do we get back? Where is the canvas? I hear a train. What? Huh? We're here? Fuck. Oh, there we go. Kind of creepy. Can we not have that? Maybe
What?
something else?
You think I'm enjoying this? You think I'm doing this out of spite? Get it right next time.
Look at that.
I won't have to fix it for you.
I'm not sure what the goal is here. Is that blood? Shackles. I told him nothing. I'm assuming that's supposed to signify that, like, our dad basically had us shackled. What? Okay. Well, let's go over here. Baby, where are you, baby? Mochi! Oh, there's the train. The crayon. Oh, God.
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
Let's go back. I assume we have to finish the painting with the crayons. The Wolfman! Oh, God, the big bad wolf. Fuck, he ripped apart everything.
There. No! I hope you're satisfied with yourself. Stop crying. We'll pick this up tomorrow, and I swear to God, I better start seeing some progress.
Looking back, I don't think my father ever really wanted a child.
I don't think so either.
It's no wonder I was never truly allowed to be one. No, what he wanted, above all things, was a successor.
His legacy.
Someone to carry on his legacy.
Yep.
Anything else was just a distraction.
What's this? Why pink? Okay, imagine your father being like this. It's a fucking child. And be it, you know, some kids really grow up to be exceptional at things. But, like, okay. This is like art elitists. Paint. You know, it said he was painting things with his blood. Clearly, this is not his blood. What about the cabinet? Oh, on. Plastic tubing. Canvas. Okay, so all of his scribblings are still here. So that was real. He actually tried to finish his piece, his magnum opus, with his flesh and blood. Weird. He lost everything, and he finally wanted to be remembered by that. Well, some kids are really talented, but for the sake of like a father or a mother who is, you know, very much of an art of some kind, I'm sure they really want their kids to get into it, but you don't force your kids to do it, right? But you guide them and say, hey, that's cool. But maybe, I don't know. I'm not a father. I gotta go. I gotta go. Well, fuck the father. Mama. Choose. I choose mother. Give me milkies. I want the milk, mama. Not the father. Am I a child or a gremlin? Oh, look. Choose which door you want, the father or the mother. Yeah, we don't want to be a part of the father's life. Goodbye. Mama. Ow.
Hey there. Oh, come on, don't be afraid. It won't bite. Here, try for yourself.
Piano?
No, that's not quite right.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck to play. The hell?
Still not quite there.
Listen, Mom, I'm trying.
Whoever's pounding on that piano, quit it!
You don't like it? Are you salty, father?
Did I not make myself clear?
I'm sorry. Locked. He's gonna beat me now.
You know what? I have an idea. Go get your crayons.
Like crayons? You mean dinner? Oh. He's gonna kill me.
Can't do it right, then don't do it at all.
Oh, God. What the hell? Help me! What about the crayons? Crayons. Jeez. I think we just have to keep pissing him off. Oh, it's closed. Never mind.
Get to work!
Roy, thank you, sir, for the 4 months. You just reminded me we have to turn the alerts off. But thank you, sir. Mochi! Rat dog. Body crashed out. I just want my crayons. Please. A nice little bit of sustenance for that. Where's the crayons, please? Mummy? A nice little bit of crayon. Look at that. Jesus. Okay. So this door is back to father or back to mother? Or did we just loop? I think we looped. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to mother. Yeah, look. I think with us spending more time with the mom, he really gets pissed off, right? Even though he never wanted us to begin with. Oh. God, it's baby Lou. Or Lou. Oh, ah! Jesus, well, there he goes.
I can't do this without you.
Is that the father? Oh. Fuck. This is like seizure simulator. Oh God! Oh no! Fuck.
Ow! This again? How many times do I have to tell you to keep this shit out of the hallway? Oh, that's right, fly! Seems like everyone's solution to everything in this house.
Jeez, okay. Mama. No. Mama. The death of mother. I don't think she actually died though, right? Did she I don't think she died in the base game. But she got disfigured, right? She had burns and everything and then left? I think. Is what it was? So there's an upstairs and a basement. So what's the upstairs? Is that a loop? It's a loop. What the fuck? Wait. The upstairs leads into the basement. What the fuck? Oh, we have to go find our mother. Okay. Mother. Okay. No, it actually changes. If I go downstairs, is this going to be different? It is. Okay. So maybe the upstairs room... There's one. Mother! Jesus. I'm down here. You know what? Oh. So his mother, or her mother, had a very minor burn on her face, but her father found her completely ugly and, like, gave up on her. From the paintings and indication, it was minor, yeah. Well, it was, like, right below her right eye. Ooh. He was a perfectionist, though, right? So, like, I'm assuming he tried to view everything very, objectively, you could say. That's us with the dog. Dude was just straight up, like, never happy. Anything? So where do we go from here? Well, all of the portraits regarding her, at the very end of the base game, and then with the portrait that we have right now, it would indicate that she wasn't burned too bad. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe her body was burned. I'm not sure. But everything kind of leads me to believe that it wasn't so severe. We do. I don't think there's anything down here, no? Guess we just go back upstairs, all right? Do we need to bring the painting, not the painting, but the pieces back to, like, the main area, maybe? Ooh, okay.
Oh, Princess, don't sneak up on me like that. Especially when I'm working. So, what do you think? Oh, you like it? Well, that makes one of us.
Can't see a damn thing. I mean, he wasn't always so cold with her, though. From that, what it sounded like. It's locked. So now there's only the mother's door. The father's completely gone. Keep following her, I guess. I was gonna say, that kind of reminded me of, like, The Evil Dead. I'm coming!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
We don't have a name. Happy birthday to me. Get out of the way. Let me through, you little bastards. I want to play. Get these fucking things out of the way. Out of the way, come on. I mean, I can't really get up the stairs, though. Oh, there we go. Strange. Oh. Oh, God. It's a poultrygeist. Oh, God. Oh. Smell, thank you, buddy. You little creatures, wait for me.
Honey, you have to come out. She's waiting for us. Don't make me do this by myself.
No, I don't want her to see me like this. I'm sorry, I can't.
So are they trying to make it so the father now seems like the good guy? The mother was so ashamed of how she looked, and the father... Oh. The father was the one to kind of, like, keep the family together. Is that really the case? I don't know. Didn't sound like that initially. He missed the birthday party. Yeah. He did. Well, he missed her birthday, period. Jesus.
Why would you do this? What am I supposed to do now? I can't do this without you.
I don't know if I believe that. Brock, is this true? Is the father a good man? I'm in slow, sir. Oh my God, it's the wolf! Holy shit. Ah, it's gonna crush me! I'm gonna be a Jill sandwich. Look at that, the dog. Get her, Mochi, get her! Oh, not me, though. Not me! Oh, not me! Jeez.
What was that?
What is this?
Honey, I need you. I need my medicine. Oh, please. Oh, it hurts so much. Why won't you help me? Why are you punishing me like this? Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I really think it was just him finding her hideous. Which, again, is pretty fucked up. Oh my god. Oh. I was a spoiled brat. Who bought these toys? Father? He must have. Always blame the father. Being a man in this timeline, is it really? I mean, the guy was all over the place mentally, so I'm not sure. This was one troubled household.
Hello. Hello.
Is that poop? Did you shit on the floor? What is this? Pipe. Everyone's a happy family. Or at least that's what she wanted. What kid doesn't want a happy family? Ooh. What? Those eyeballs. I picked up the jar lid. Okay. The jalid. Oh, we have to build the clock. Okay. So now I have the gear. So what do we do here? Do we actually have to have this work? Really? Okay. Sure. Back for that. Look. Oh. There you go, little buddy. Go, go. Choo, choo. Get all. What the fuck? Sorry. You know what we gotta do? Is go get the other wheel now. Oh, scared me. Surely this is gonna work, right? The jar lid? Let's see. There you go. Get out of here, dude. You like it? Oh. Well, I tried. I'll be back. Oh, God. I think we have to find something for the cat. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we do. Is there anything else? What about the plate? Sure. Really, nothing. You know what? Maybe it wasn't meant to be. To be fair, we also missed a part where, like, you had to have a key. And I don't think we even were given a key at all. Oh. I don't think we can get down there. So we got to figure out what to do with what we have right now. So how do we make this work? Can't repair the cat. Oh, what about this? Oh! Wait. I didn't give him his tail. Oh! Wait, well, what about... Hang on. Was he missing his tail the whole time? I think I fucked it up. How do I give him back the pieces to move? Was he missing the tail? I think he was. But where's his wheel now? You know what? I think I soft locked myself. I'm not kidding. I think I did. Well, Little Nightmares 2 is not scary. I mean, this game is not really scary either, but it's supposed to be ghoulish. You know what? I think I soft-locked myself. I didn't realize I had to put the cat's tail back on. The other wheel went flying. This one won't go on him. So what do I do? This is me just being abused at this point. Fuck do I... Unless the cog is somewhere on the ground? You know what? We're gonna have to restart. The fuck? Really? Seriously? Unless it's not the case? But what are we missing then? What do we do? Oh. Nope. Very little buddy. Shelf. Oh. Oh! Wait, you know what? We didn't fuck anything up. We just didn't find it properly. Look. There's the wheel. You kidding me? Oh, man. Never mind. Look at that. We did it. Woohoo! You know, thank God we stuck with it. There you go, little buddy. Get out of here. He's going to lead me through the nightmare realm. This is the spider guy in Baldur's Gate 3. Look at this guy.
I hate you.
No, you don't. Let's go, little buddy.
At
Mochi.
least you still feel something. I look at you and I see nothing.
That's so fucked.
Not the beautiful girl I fell in love with. Not the mother of my child. Not even the hateful monster you pretend to be.
You're just empty. I look at you and I feel nothing. It scares the hell out of me.
You forgot to say how hideous I am. Go on. I know you want to.
Keep going! Into the breach!
I know you're disgusted with me. Admit it.
Right, I am disgusted with you. But it has nothing to do with the way you look. I'm disgusted with what you let it do to you. How you let it change you.
What? So he hates that his wife gave up on everything that she loved? Because she had, I mean, one of the things, though, look at that. One of the things was that she was a pianist, and she was renowned for her beauty. And I guess after the accident, she kind of gave up on that completely, right? She let go of her career, and she said, I'm not worth anything to anyone, and then just refused to continue.
What? Oh, that's all right, honey. Something got into Mommy's eye, that's all. You be a good little girl and go to sleep. Daddy's working, so we can't disturb him. Mommy has to go downstairs and take a bath. I love you.
Chicken, thank you, man, for the 8 months.
More than a wife, she was first and foremost his muse. Her beauty and talent drove him. After the accident, she became a burden. A disgusting monster screeching out from her bed. An anchor weighing him down.
Last will and testament. I, blank, grasping at the remains of my sanity. Okay, so this is what he wrote in his death throes. At the very end of his life, he went insane. Grasping at the remains of my insanity, or sanity. Declare this to be my last will and testament. I hereby deem all my previous wills just as worthless as the shallow husks calling themselves my friends and associates. To my agent, Thomas Caldwell, I bestow the hellish vermin that infest my home, praying that they will gnaw away at him endlessly, bleeding him dry, just like he did to me. To my publisher, Liam Brickstone, I bequeath the flames that consume the love of my life, in the hope that they will devour him, along with that wretched whore and the squealing bastard he calls his family. Jeez. To my lawyer, James Jerome Sadler, I pass on whatever illness has rotted my mind and soul away, so that he can feel just as empty and as useless as he was to me. To any other parasite that comes crawling out of the woodwork, I leave nothing. To hell with all of you. Finally, to my beloved daughter, I leave my earthly possessions for what they're worth. I hope they will inspire you to realize your true potential. A final, most precious gift. However, is not mine to give you. You will have to discover that on your own. I believe in you, as I always have. Maybe he did want his daughter to do well. We sided with the mom here. The gift was us drawing. Maybe not as good as him, obviously, but, you know, we drew a few things. A pink horse was one of them. Aye. That's the room we never were able to get into. Oh, here's their bedroom.
Huh. I don't remember that being there.
I can hear you out there. Please, please help me. It hurts. Oh, it hurts so much. I can't take it anymore.
Yes. Thank you. It's so good to feel that there's still beauty in this world.
The father would go crazy, yelling at the wife for never leaving her bed after the accident. And then the kid would hide away in the closet. This was the only door we could never enter. Yeah, this one. Which was interesting, because you know what? They must have made this game with the DLC in mind, completely, because this door was in the base game, but it was locked. Oh, it's still locked. So where would the key be? I assume we do want to get in there, right? What the fuck even is in there? You know what? We never went down here. Right. This is the painting room. Odd. His inspiration was his wife. And this was our room. The fuck? Oh, there he is.
All right, young lady. Shall we continue? Right. Whatever happens, just keep looking at me and listen. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. The princess was all alone in the dark. And yet, she felt that the evil witch was lurking nearby. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she saw something moving in the corner of her eye.
Keep your head straight!
The fuck? Oh my god. Okay, okay, Dad.
Adjusted to the darkness.
What
She
the
saw
fuck?
something moving in the corner of her eye. And yet, she did not dare to move, for she knew that that would be the end of her. The princess heard a fearsome growl. The witch.
As the princess moved, the growl.
What the fuck? Listen, Dad. Fuck you. We're gonna die.
The witch had unleashed her familiar, the hellhound. The monster sniffed at the air, its perky ears wary of even the slightest sound. The princess remained motionless, letting the monster pass. There was a stillness in the air. The princess
Do you want this story to have a happy ending or not?
What?
Damn it, not again. Fine. Because the princess wouldn't stop fidgeting, she was set upon by the evil witch's minion and dragged off into the darkness, never to be seen again. The end.
Oh, well, that's a lovely story. Thank you, Dad.
My fault. It was always my fault. All I had to do was stay still, day after day, for hours on end, until he would finally get it right.
Oh.
I've lost count of how many attempts there were, but each one made me feel like I was his greatest failure.
Fuck your dad. That's the door in the hallway. What's in that door, though? Look what you did. Our father is just a piece of shit, though. So do we have the key? Is it open? It's open. What was in here the whole time?
So, after all this time, after all I've been through,
Stay here. Your mother and I need to talk.
this is all you have for me?
This is her inheritance.
Of all places, you chose this room.
You think I don't hear that? Stop crying! Don't make me come in there!
So many memories. This one room, filled with more memories than I can count.
I thought I told you to be quiet!
Oh, the lovely memories.
She's gonna burn the place down, isn't she?
I imagined him standing there, all smug and pleased with himself, thinking this piece of canvas was somehow going to fix everything. I imagined what I would say to him, what I would do. My daddy. You shouldn't have. You really
God.
shouldn't have.
Understandable, ma'am. I don't blame her. Oh, God. Run! The place is... What? Did she get out? Wait, she's dead? Huh? So we didn't really accept his... We never really wanted to walk in his footsteps, right? We just kind of went our own way and we kind of crashed out and then died? I mean, the house is... Yeah, like, what? I don't think it would have burned down that fast. I wonder if there's multiple endings if we would have taken his route instead of hers. Well, no, this is not better than... This is not better than... all three endings, Inheritance DLC. Okay, so there are 3 other endings in this DLC. How you get those, I have no clue. But we do want to watch them. And then we'll talk about what it is we just played. Sure. Ah. So here are the endings of the DLC. The father ending. So I'm assuming this is if we would have taken his route, right?
Of all places,
Or maybe this was our ending.
what I would do. My daddy.
No, you know what? This was the one we got.
You really shouldn't have.
It's like a very valid crash out. And then she just dies? The mother ending? Well, how do you get the mother ending if we chose the mother at every step of the way? And the secret hidden ending.
What I found was an apology. Expressed in the only language he ever truly knew.
For innocence.
At that moment, I could finally see my father for what he was.
So, the father ending is basically us not accepting his way, hating him for what he did to us. This ending, I suppose, is accepting him and saying, you know what, he was a bad person, but in the end, I guess this is his apology. This is his inheritance to me.
A man driven insane.
He says, look, I've got all your stuff here.
With sadness and guilt. Trapped in this house. A nightmarish echo chamber of past mistakes and tragedies. It was this house. A place beyond hope, beyond redemption.
Burn it down. So she willingly burns the place down to have all of the memories fade, right?
I had given
And then
up
she walks
trying to
out.
understand my father a long time ago. I could finally forgive him.
You know, there were glimpses of her father being like a decent person throughout the game. I'm not sure if that was like actually happening. The father ending is very abrupt, but it seems like it's supposed to be the normal ending. I mean, even throughout the playthrough, I kind of questioned it, right? Because the father... was he... I don't know. Again, there was glimpses of, like, hope in him. There were glimpses of a father figure in there beyond, like, the controlling perfectionist. Like, nobody's perfect, but the dad was kind of a little bit too much, I think. I think this is the canon ending, no? This has got to be. The one we got was more of, like, not really moving on. And then this is the secret ending. Fuck.
Hey, princess. What have you got there? Oh, that's so lovely, sweetie.
Oh, she had a kid.
But why pink?
Oh, the true... Oh, that was the same ending. Okay, so she has a family and then has a daughter. All right. This is the true hidden ending. So how would you have even got this? The tree and the apple. We found that earlier. Well, we found a tree with apples in it earlier, but...
In the process, I realized what he was trying to tell me.
Oh, this ending would have
This
been...
house was nothing but a tomb.
This ending would
There
have
was
been...
nothing left for me here.
I think the true ending is you trying to find all of the pieces.
No answers. No solace. No closure.
His treatment to her daughter... his daughter is more of a performative act rather than a genuine treatment.
True inheritance.
I'm not sure.
Lay within. And then, just like that, it finally happened. For the first time in my life, I saw the world through my father's eyes.
This is the true ending.
I was once told that insanity runs in my family. Let it run.
That's the true ending. It's kind of fucked up. Wait, so then she goes insane as well? What? So what does that even imply? So the first ending is her crashing out on her father. The second ending is siding with the mother and making amends with her father. And then having her own kid kind of start up painting again. But she starts painting the... like the second ending is supposed to be basically her inheriting her father's ill. Like, maybe to signify that, like, oh, she's painting the pink horse again, and what is that? Why is it pink? Type of deal, right? And then she's gonna crash out on her daughter. I don't know, maybe? This one is just her accepting everything. Her true inheritance, which was to take after her dad, was to be a painter.
For the
Or her
first time in my
insanity
life,
or something? I think we should watch a lore video of this game. I think that second one was definitely about her taking after her father. Basically, all the endings are bad. She'll basically die or go insane. Let me just read some of the comments on the YouTube video. Okay, here we go. So the father ending. I consider this ending actually the mother's ending. I get it gives you snippets of what the father has and said and done, and it centers on him mostly. I get that. However, I consider this the mother ending because she ends out like her mother. In this ending, she is overrun with sadness and hatred for her father, not allowing him forgiveness, just as the mother's soul doesn't allow him his happiness, which would be getting the paintings right, okay? I see this ending aligning with the neutral ending of the game. Her dying in the fire is also similar to her mother becoming disfigured in a fire. That makes sense, okay? The second ending, the mother ending. I consider this the neutral ending of the DLC. In this, you may lean slightly in your father's favor by saying, why pink? Yeah. But I don't think this means much, as her father was very, very, very disapproving about it, while the daughter does praise her child. I don't have much to say on this ending. Okay? The true ending, I consider this ending actually the father's ending. I would say so. I mean, if you take in your father's footsteps, this is most likely his ending, right? It said the true ending, even though the first two were named the father and the mother. I consider this ending actually the father's ending. In this, you end out like your father, you set up your own spot just as his, and you even want to follow in his footsteps to allow madness to take you. What you want to paint, I'm not quite sure. Whether it's your mother's beauty, your child, a dog, I have no idea. Do you, dear reader of this comment, know or have any idea of what she wants to paint? I'm thinking the tree and the apple was very appropriate. After all, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Yeah. And then it says, if anything, I think the daughter just wants to paint features of her childhood, such as the never-ending dolls. Despite clearly growing up and having a life and child of her own, she's still so transfixed on her own childhood that she simply can't escape it in her own head. It might be possible that she can relate better to her daughter simply because she constantly remembers so vividly how she herself behaved when she was so young. You know, those three explanations, I do get it. The first one is more of the mother, where you can never forgive the father for what he did, and you end up in your rage killing yourself. You set the place on fire, it collapses, you die. I would say that's probably the worst ending. Well, the most abrupt. The second one is you make amends with your dad. You kind of move on with it. You have your own child. And then that, you know, in growing up, your father's, what's the word? I don't want to say psyche. Your father's demeanor, like his personality, his traits start showing in you, right? With the whole idea of why pink, right? Because when he was younger, or rather when she was younger and, you know, he was teaching her to draw, he literally crashed out over his daughter painting a pink horse, and it was like a big segment in the game. So, yeah. All right, that's the second ending. The third one, she just accepts what her father wanted and was about and just goes off and paints like a freak. I would say for me, the best ending is the mother ending. The second one where she has the daughter and then some of those traits might show up, but maybe she moves past that, right? I guess it's all psychological, so take your pills. But they're pretty bleak. Those are pretty bleak endings, right? The first one, you kill yourself. The third one, you become just as insane as your father, you know, taking in his footsteps. And the second one, with the daughter, implies a little bit of maliciousness, but, like, yeah, this is certainly not a happy ending. This is about you not really escaping your genetics, we'll say. Your father went insane. He had a lot of mental problems, and your inheritance was what he gave you. His genetics, his drive. Interesting. I gave Layers of Fear 1. I think I gave it like a 7.5. I think I gave it a 7, not a 7.5. I never even gave the game a rating here on this list, so we can do that now. I think this is a very concise story. I quite like it. It's a father, a mother, a daughter, big mansion. His life kind of falls apart. His wife gets injured in a fire, and his inspiration becomes more of a tedium, more of like a a longing for that inspiration again, and he can never draw. He can never have that like perfection that he once did. You know, his agent and stuff like that says like, oh, we don't really have much going on. You know, you got to go back to the good old times. The new stuff just isn't nearly as good as the old stuff. So everything around him is kind of falling apart. He then abuses his daughter. His daughter doesn't seem to really, you know, want to do what he's doing. She's not in line with his teachings. And the mother leaves. The daughter leaves. I think it was that the daughter ends up going to a foster home. I don't really remember what the mother was doing exactly after the house had gone to shit and she left. Maybe she passed away? I'm not sure. We should probably watch a lore video. But I actually do think this DLC kind of rounds out the story pretty well. Not that you really had to have the child back and tell her side of things. Or her side of the things. But it's a very bleak, like, in the end, almost none of it mattered. You know, you can't really outrun who you are, right? So, I liked it. It was pretty cursed. The entire game is just more of a battle with your own psyche, right? The first game is your father kind of spiraling into insanity and trying to finish his magnum opus, right? Trying to have that one lasting piece, his legacy. And then you kind of come into that, into your inheritance. Interesting. I think I want to watch a lore video. Let's see, one sec. Layers of Fear's story explained. The complete story explained of the second game. Well, we haven't played that yet. Layers of Fear's story and psychology explained plus DLC inheritance. I feel like it was pretty good. It was very, very concise. It was very, very concise, honestly. Do I enjoy the alternate endings? Maybe not, but I guess for the sake of, like, you know, what you do in the game. Yeah, sure. In terms of what's canon, I guess that's what you make it. Mule, hello, sir. The bad ending is the best. I don't really like I feel like, in a way, this is supposed to be a bleak game. This is supposed to be something about, like, oh, what my father had gone through is maybe what I'm going to inherit, right? Genetics, whatever. The mental condition. I kind of like the more optimistic end. I feel like, as a child who had gone through all of this trauma, the one thing she wouldn't want to do is kind of fall back into that, right? Where she's made her amends, she's moved on, she burned the house down, there's no more anything tying you back to that past, right? I like the second ending. I think, to me, that was my favorite one, and that's how it should be, but yeah, you know, the first game is pretty grim. The second is still open-ended. Good ending doesn't mean it's good. Well, it's the best of the three. The first one has you dying. The third one has you going insane. The second one has you off with a new family. And, you know, there's signs of what your father had gone through in you as well, but who knows what that could turn into. Still bad, but yeah. So, let's do a lore video of the first and DLC. And from that, I'll give the game a rating. I actually do like this, though. I think this was one of the more concise, narratively driven things where, like, there wasn't so much shit going on to the point where, like, you couldn't understand it. You know, it kind of reminds me of more of a deeper... Psychological stuff is typically deeper than, like, cosmic horror. But it's very Still Wakes the Deep in that it's a very concise thing, localized narrative, localized setting. Nothing is too expansive, right? It's on the oil rig out in the ocean. It's with a crew of people, and in the DLC, it's the daughter. In this game, it's a family stuck in a mansion, and guess who as well? It's the daughter in the DLC. So I like it. It's very tight-knit. You don't really have to think too much outside the box. What you get is something great. Someone corrected something. My take is that the painter didn't cheat on his wife. Rather, he was still infatuated with the old appearance of her. We do know that. He said that in the DLC. He wasn't in love with her, rather with an idea of her. What? He only sees her as a muse, an idea. Or an ideal, not as a human. So the she that the wife was referring to was her old self that the husband was so obsessed with. Still pines for. I guess so, because he was trying to... We got to watch this video, but he was really attached to his old wife's beauty, right? Like his inspiration, he said, was her visage. And then once she got burned, it was like he couldn't even look at her anymore. Just called her a monster, which pretty fucked up, you know? It's common for artists. This is a pretty interesting game. I do like it. This is why lead paint was outlawed. All right, let's watch this video real quick, and then we'll talk about a rating. Sec. You know what we could do? Let me Google something very quickly. Is Layers of Fear 2 connected to... Very quickly. Wow, you know what? I'm not going to watch a lore video because it's the sequel. Layers of Fear 2 is the sequel. It's a sequel set in the same universe. Oh, it's not a direct sequel. Oh. It's in the same universe, but... Yeah, the story doesn't overlap, is what somebody said as well. I don't know anything about the story. I don't want to spoil myself, but I was just curious if I had to, I could have maybe watched something else. Or waited to basically watch lore. Let's do this one then. Let's watch this. Before we rate the game, let's do this. I think this game is a little bit less straightforward than Still Wakes the Deep. Still Wakes the Deep was a little bit ambiguous with, like, a lot of the creature and... Well, just the creature, to be honest. That was the only weird thing about that game. Everything else was pretty standard. But when it comes to any sort of, like, psychological thing, there's a lot of, like, metaphorical stuff going on where you walk into a room and it's like this and this and this and this. It's like, what does that mean? What does it mean? And what does that mean? That's 5 gifted from Tuber Duck. Thank you, sir, for the 5 gifted. I appreciate that, man. And you know what? Before we do watch this video, I got to give you a spin. All right? Yesterday, just got my first paycheck. That's awesome, bro. And thank you, man. And Horn Shrimp is here, too. I owe you a spin. Horn Shrimp gets a 5 spin as well. The fact that you're here at the same time is excellent. Both. Yeah, I didn't give you a spin yet. Tuber Duck, thank you, man. Hey, appreciate it, bro. And that's awesome, man. Congratulations. But don't think you have to give me money. Hey, you made that money. If you want to keep it, bro, you do that, man. Thank you, sir. Let's do Tuber Duck first, and then we'll do Horn Shrimp. All right, let's go. Thank you, gents. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what? Oh my god. Wait, what's going on? You know what happened? Oh. Oh, I didn't realize the ear, the cotton swab thing, it flew off the wheel, and I replaced it with a nub. And I found the other nub. Okay, sure. I didn't realize that. I was like, what the fuck? Where'd it go? That's good, though. Fuck the thing. This wheel is completely falling apart.
Mochi.
Mochi. Hi, man. Well, it is a bean, sir. Let me add your time. If you want me to eat the bean, I can do that. I'd still prefer not to, but that's up to you. You're good, bro. You don't have to. All right, I'll take that, sir. Hey, Tuber Duck, thank you, man. There are a few people on this stream who do make me eat the bean, and I can't deny that. If you want it, I'll do it. If you don't want it, I'm for that too, because these things are so vile. No, these are disgusting. I think yesterday we ate about 3 beans. I think 3 or 4 beans yesterday. All right, hey, Tuber Duck, thank you, man. And now for Horn Shrimp for 5 gifted and some time. Thank you. Well, oh fuck, Mochi flew off the wheel. There's only a few beans that make you gag, and I've thrown up eating them. A few of them are just disgusting, man. They get stuck in your teeth. The taste of, like, rot permeates your mouth. Like, the best tasting beans that are shit are the carcinogenic ones. 2 times! The ones that aren't tasting like plastic are vile. They're just disgusting. 2 times, sir. That's excellent, Mr. Horn Shrimp. So I'm going to give you 1,200 seconds. A few of them are vile. A few of them, I just cannot have them in my mouth. Dead fish. There was one yesterday. I couldn't even figure out what the fuck it was, but I threw up a bit. Liver and onion is just unedible. Like, some of those are just torture methods. W. Yes, sir. That's going to be 1,200 seconds. There you go. Awesome. Hey, thank you, guys. Let me actually take you both off the list now. Off the list. Well, the thing is, it doesn't taste like what it's supposed to be. I've never had liver and onions together. All I assume is that it's a very, very exaggerated flavor, right? It's meant to be in essence of what it says it is, but it's just gross. It's just gross. It's like you take a bite of it, and it's a very... It's a big chunk of flavor in your mouth in one condensed area, but it spreads throughout your mouth. So bad. All right. So thank you, folks. Let us watch Layers of Fear Story and Psychology and the DLC, and then we'll end on this and start the second game. All right. Butterscotch. No, some of them are actually tasty. They go from being like vile ass to, wow, that's pretty good.
There's a kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful at all. It settles into old walls like mold. It thickens the air, it weighs down furniture, and clings to everything that used to feel alive. It's the dust that places itself on old family photos, the heavy creaks your footsteps make when you revisit your empty childhood home, and the memories that flood your mind and heart, causing you to realize that time comes for everyone. The mansion in this game is layered in that silence. Something inside still remembers what happened. The walls were sleeping, but when you walk in, they reawaken, and they are listening to you. This is the story of a man who tried to paint his way out of grief, a husband who tried to rewrite sins and tragedies by attempting to capture the past on canvas, a father who thought his legacy could fix everything he broke. And what started as a story about a renowned and brilliant painter ends as something much darker and much, much more pathetic. I've played a lot of horror games, but most of them ask you to be afraid of what's hiding in the dark or of what's chasing you. But this game asks you to live inside of the mind of someone who never left trauma behind. It turns memories into nightmares, guilt into architecture, pain into paint. And the longer you're inside the house, the harder it gets to tell where the man's art ends and his madness begins. Tonight we're going to walk through the story of the base game plus the Inheritance DLC, and then, after you have context, I want to go over the psychological themes the game shares. Hey, you like stories? You like psychology? Then tap that like button to see more. And since you're still here, you're coming with me. Welcome to Layers of Fear.
Okay.
This story is told in disjointed pieces. Paintings, letters, echoes, hallucinations, and rooms that shouldn't exist. It isn't straightforward. It loops back on itself, like somebody retelling the same story over and over again, trying to make it end differently. I liked it. However, I did not like the puzzles. I hate puzzles, but if we pick up the pieces and place them in the correct order, we can start to see the full picture. We can understand who the painter was, what he did, and why his family collapsed around him. What is it with painters, by the way? They've always got an issue. However, maybe more importantly, we can understand what fear does to people when they carry it for too long. Notice how I said people. I want you to go into this video knowing that this is more than just the fear the painter, the father, has, because his wife and his daughter are afflicted with that fear as well. But let's start back at the beginning, back when it was just a man in love with a woman who played piano. You see, the house used to be warm and it had music in it, real music. The grand piano sat in the living room, and whenever she played, her husband painted. That was their rhythm, their dance, sound and color, the painter and his muse. She used to be this famous professional musician before she met him. Critics described her work as astounding and enthusiastic, more than just a pretty face. And he was a rising star in the art world.
I think I literally said that her beauty inspired him, but I guess it would be the music. We read all this stuff, but trying to piece everything together and remember it's just not going to happen first time around, so I guess it was everything.
Natural, a generational anomaly, raw, intuitive, and revolutionary. A marriage of arts and of souls. So, they moved into a large Victorian house. Must be nice. The kind that's too big for two people to live in, unless they're planning to fill it. Which they did, with a daughter and a doggo. Everything was perfect, but not for too long. Because as is the case with relationships, when things are good, they're great. But when things get hard, that is where the true test of love comes in. I love my wife, and one thing I recommend to people if they think they want to get married to someone is to travel. Get on a plane, go somewhere far, because when you're exhausted and things go wrong, and they will, you're gonna see how you both handle things. But back to the story, the family's future came apart on the night of the department store fire. During the grand opening, there was a violent fire that trapped and severely injured dozens of people.
Is that where the wife got burned?
One of those people just so happens to be the wife.
Yeah.
By the way, I never found their names, so I just keep calling them by their titles. But she was caught in the inferno, and she made it out, but only barely, because her hands, her face, her skin was singed off. The nerves in her fingers were damaged. The doctors told her that she'd survive, but her career wouldn't. Her fingers would never dance across 88 keys again. When she came home, she was changed. She no longer had the same beautiful visage she was adorned for. She no longer had the gleaming passion for music anymore. But her husband would still love her, through thick and thin, through sickness and in health, right? Well,
Nope.
he didn't know how to help her. He tried to find surgeons, he paid for skin grafts, but nothing could reverse the irreversible. However, when the doctors told him that the damage was permanent and there was nothing else they could do, he didn't take it well. So he sent letters to all of the doctors, harassing
crashed
them
out on them.
over and over again. You see, he really wanted his old wife back. And one of the doctors even threatened legal action if he didn't just stop. But you see, the husband would never admit out loud, even to himself, was that he didn't actually care about his wife or her well-being.
It was
He
his
wanted
inspiration.
his life back, not his wife.
Is that her? Oh, God. Can she hear us? This is all fixable, right?
Yeah, what the fuck?
No, you don't understand. Her face, her hands. She will be devastated.
And so what do I mean by this? He only cared about what she could offer him, that she had been a beautiful art piece and an object of desire, and that she was his, that she was of him, but most importantly, that her talent in music was the only thing inspiring and generating his own craft, because without her music, he would not be able to produce art worthy of veneration. The house that once felt creative started to feel cold and quiet. It wasn't peaceful. It was the quiet that you get when people start avoiding each other. They started leaving notes instead of talking. Sometimes just a few words, sometimes entire pages, but rarely face to face. But he began to drink more. She played less. And the child, she suffered too. Many parents probably think that their children are too young to understand everything, but to be honest, they're not
God.
too young to feel when something has gone wrong. And the daughter definitely felt things go wrong. Even the family dog would feel the
What's with
effects
this
of
thing?
this D
What the hell is this? This is like the rat something? Some sort of rat creature?
evolution.
What was that about?
The husband locked himself in his studio trying to desperately paint a masterpiece, but he couldn't. And as a consequence, he would become a raging alcoholic. He would take it out on his daughter, viciously berating her and inciting terror within her. There's more than one way to abuse a young one. It doesn't solely
Maybe.
have to be physical for it to count as abuse. I do think that he physically hurt the dog though, so there's that. However, his wife would quickly become something to just completely ignore, something he now hated and wished would go away because he wanted his old life back. And she too would grow bitter and hateful towards him. Oh, how she was disgusted by him. How he stopped loving her and showed nothing but abhorrence and indifference to her. He would even cheat on her with another woman.
I had the most beautiful dream last night. I dreamt.
I thought he was talking about his art here, or she was talking about the art. At the very end of it, I dreamt he came to me, embraced me, as he once did.
He came to me.
I think there was one more line after this.
Embraced
I thought
me,
this was talking
loved
about his
me,
art.
as he once did. But we both know.
It was you who he really lusted for. I thought it was the art. I guess it wasn't.
While I dreamed my silly little dream, it was you. It was you.
think it was the art?
He really lusted for.
Not getting cheated on? Well, you know what? I don't think it was getting cheated on. Maybe this was... Well, hang on. This was her I dreamt he came to me, embraced me, loved me as he once did. So this is the wife talking about how he didn't view her as anything anymore, right? Like at the very beginning of their relationship, that was their height, that was their peak. That's when they were really in love. And then once she had her accident, this was her kind of saying like, you know, I want him back, right? This is his perspective. I guess this is his nightmare. Sounds like he's talking out of his... I don't know. It's very...
Little dream.
Piecing things together without, like, exact information.
He really
yeah.
lusted for.
I don't think she got cheated on. Maybe I'm wrong.
And it's all thanks to you. You've showed me that there's no other way. Even now, your sad smile confirms what should have been obvious. We will not speak again.
Oh, maybe it was.
The wife would know, and she knew for a long time, but she could do nothing, and nothing would have changed. She just hated him even more, hated herself even more. He was an abusive drunk, a useless husband, and a father who wouldn't even remember his daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, but when he did, he would show up inebriated.
Are you out of your mind?
What? You said there was gonna be a party. I just started a bit early. Whoops.
We didn't get that, though. We got the other one where he actually cared. What?
He couldn't even paint anymore. He couldn't. And he's the type of guy to blame everybody but himself. Without her, he was exposed as a fraud of an artist who couldn't produce anything but mockeries for the world to laugh at. There was no respect for him, and he knew this deep down, and he hated himself even more because of how true it was. He was pathetic. And then things started to get creepy.
Perspective?
Because it wasn't long before he
20
began
hours.
hearing rats.
It's not like that, no,
every
but
night,
it's sure a long
scratching
time every
behind
day.
walls, skittering under the floorboards, and yet there were no rats. But he heard them anyway. But even worse, the life of the wife had been taken by a knife. She committed suicide in the bathroom, unable to bear the crushing weight of everything that had happened. Under the layers of her fear.
Really? This is where we got the eyeball from. Did she kill herself in the bathroom?
There was
Really?
a deep-seated guilt and hate that she had for herself, because she blamed herself. Pathetically enough, the husband would still blame her for that too. However, it would continue to spiral from there, seeing that he was unfit to be a father, a solo parent. Eventually, a social worker would come, and after a legal battle, his daughter
was taken
would be
away.
taken away to live with another family. But just like he wouldn't take responsibility, he wouldn't just leave this alone.
Stay here.
Everything lost. In a desperate attempt to bring his wife, his daughter, and most importantly to him, his art back, he would use the remains of his wife to paint his magnum opus.
What? That was the wife? What about his leg? Is that true? Wait, Wait, the entire base game, I thought he was using pieces of himself to paint. I don't think that's true. I don't think he used his wife, no? Maybe I'm
Her
wrong.
Eyes, bones, hair, things mixed in with his...
You know what? I think maybe that's true, though. I thought that was the daughter's hair. It looks more like the wife's hair. You know what? I think that is true. Really?
materials so that he could try to finish it. And
I guess that would make sense that he was painting with the one thing that inspired him. So I think it is. I think that is the case. That would make more sense, right? That he was painting his wife with her parts, right? Like, oh, I can go back to that perfection. I can do that stuff, right? I guess that would make sense. Oh. So if this is the case, if she did actually kill herself in the bathroom, this is where he found the eyeball, right? Then at that point, he would have had all the pieces of her, the flesh, the eye, the bones, the blood. Was it her own blood or his blood? See, that's the weird thing. I'm not sure if this, based on what we played, I'm not entirely sure if this is all correct, but who knows.
Crazily enough, he didn't see this as desecration. He saw it as restoration. If he used her remains, the
He's bringing
painting
her
wouldn't
back.
just resemble her, it would be her.
Yeah, I guess that would
living
make sense.
tribute, a way to make her permanent, immortal, to make himself immortal. So for his immortal technique, he gathered 6 items. He made a canvas of stretched skin, a vial of blood for pigment, ground bone for texture, hair to make the brush, a severed finger for detail, an eye to watch the work he finished. Each piece meant something to him. Each one brought him closer to finishing it. This madman painted in layers. Every time that he added something, every time he tried to capture
It became
and
more of
exhume
his
the
wife, though,
past,
yeah.
she would start coming back more and more with each iteration. But I don't mean just on the canvas. I mean around the house. She would appear at the ends of hallways. He would hear her sobs, and sometimes she would even come back to kill him. She was haunting him, and the rooms changed too. Furniture moved on its own, doors led to places that didn't exist. The house shifted with him, like it was being painted and repainted in real time. This was his punishment. It was
But isn't that all in his head? Isn't that all in his head, though?
a labyrinth made of his own doing from his own denial. But when he finally stood in front of the finished piece, he saw her. Young, perfect, exactly the way that he remembered her with their daughter. For 1 second, he believed he had done it. He brought them back. However, in that moment, he understood he couldn't fix it at all. No matter what he painted, no matter how many times he tried to repaint, he could not undo anything.
I know what must be done.
The story was all in his head. Yeah, for sure. It was all in his head completely. Absolutely. None of this stuff actually happened. He was just hallucinating, right? He was going insane. And these are all the loops that he's been through. He's tried to paint her exactly as he remembered her, but none of this worked. Right? And this is just the room of all of his failures. Trying to regain his past self. And then he burns himself. He's dead.
I was once told that insanity runs in my family. It's time to make it stop.
Years passed. The house rotted in silence. Then the daughter came back. But she was grown now, and she was here for her inheritance. The house was decrepit and empty, but her memories filled the gaps, and her animosity towards her father still burned, but she moved through the house the way that you move through a dream, reliving her traumatic past. Sometimes she shrank. The ceilings would get taller, the chairs would get bigger, and the rooms changed shape around her. They became stages where old arguments played out. She was a little girl again, cowering before her father as he screamed. Screamed at mother, at her, at the dog.
I am sick. I'm sick of you not being there for us. We need you. I need you. When was the last time you slept with me? Christ, when was the last time you even touched me? Do you know what that does to me? To know that my own husband is disgusted with me.
Well, excuse me if I've been too busy working my ass off trying to provide for this family. But no, you're right. It's much more important to whisper sweet nothings in your ear.
You call that work? You lock yourself in there for hours, days. You come out looking like shit, stinking of booze and stale piss.
Men will
She
be
would
men.
continue on and find her old drawings, pages of crayon scribbles, a little artist herself.
They cook the
But she
dog.
was still never good enough for her father.
Mochi, no.
Unfortunately, when he couldn't find success through his wife anymore, and he knew he didn't have it in him, he would try to find it through his daughter. He would try to push his legacy onto his daughter. He would do things like chastise her for not drawing on canvas the way that he wanted her to. Or if she used crayons, he would yell at her. He shouted that if she couldn't do something right, to not do it at all. Just like when her mother tried to encourage her to play piano, but he thought it was terrible.
If you can't do it right, then don't do it at all.
Well, your own interpretation of things, too. For stories that are a little bit ambiguous, sure. I think for this one, if you do put everything
He would
together, I
also
guess it would
force
make
her
sense,
to
but there's a
sit
few things that I'm still not
still
certain of.
for hours, days on end, so that he could paint her, and if she moved just a little bit, he would scorn her.
All right, young lady. Shall we Right. Where was I? Ah, yes. The princess was all alone in the dark. And yet... As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she saw something moving in the...
Keep your head straight.
For she knew that that would be the end of her. Letting the monster pass, there was a stillness in the air. The princess breathed a...
Do you want this story to have a happy ending or not?
Oh, god damn it, not again. Fine. Because the princess wouldn't stop fidgeting, she was set upon by the evil witch's minion and dragged off into the darkness, never to be seen again. The end.
My fault. It was always my fault. All I had to do was stay still, day after day, for hours on end, until he would finally get it right. I've lost count of how many attempts there were, but each one made me feel like I was his greatest failure.
But revisiting her old house and reliving all of these memories, one has to wonder, would she choose to forgive her father? Why should she? If
True,
you were a
yeah.
child cursed with familial trauma, would you forgive your parents? If she denies and doesn't forgive him, when she finds the portrait her father left for her,
So, after all this time, after all I've been through,
Stay here. Your mother and I need to talk.
this is all you have for me? And of all places, you chose this room.
You think I don't hear that? Stop crying! Don't make me come in there!
So many memories. This one room, filled with more memories than I can count.
I thought I told you to be quiet!
Oh, the lovely memories.
Mochi, no, go.
I imagined him
No.
standing there,
No, you can't be under there.
all
No.
smug and pleased with himself, thinking this
One
piece of
sec.
canvas.
Mochi's got to go see Mama. Mochi, let's go see Mama. Come on. Mochi's with Mama. Is it depicted as bad for not forgiving him? Yeah, you end up killing yourself. The thing is about these endings, though, is that I don't blame her for not forgiving him. The problem is the game makes it so you end up dying if you don't forgive him. if you do forgive him, which I guess, I don't know. I don't think you could. I mean, it was pretty terrible. Very terrible. And it's not like you always forgive your parents. What if they're horrible? Like, really, really horrible. But, you know, the ending where you do forgive him is, like, the most hopeful, except you then start to exhibit, like, what your father had at the time and how he treated you, and then you to your own daughter. Yeah. It's a little weird for the endings, yeah.
Fix everything. I imagined what I would say to him. What I would do. My daddy. You shouldn't have.
You really
Jesus.
shouldn't have.
Yeah, this is where you die. This is when you don't forgive him. What a very frail house.
But you see, that wasn't actually the inheritance her father wanted her to find. In the true ending, we find out that what her father gave her, her inheritance, wasn't just a memory.
It was himself.
Was insanity.
Yeah.
Madness was the gift that had been given to her, and she accepted it.
There was
Which is
nothing
weird.
left
Why?
for me here. No
Why?
answers.
How is that the true ending?
No solace. No closure. My true inheritance lay within.
She says no closure. I guess, in a way, she got to relive all of her traumas in the house. But how would you even gain closure from a scenario like this? Your father was a piece of shit. The end of the day. Well, the end, rather. The end, right? Like, how could you gain closure out of this? Trying to understand your father and what he had gone through, maybe? And understanding that, like, he had psychological problems, obviously. Pizza and beer. It may be a little shaky presenting a victim like this as having no happy ending. Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of a... Well, this game was meant to be creepy. You know, it was meant to be, I guess at the end of it all, bleak. Don't a lot of trauma and issues don't have closure in real life? I suppose so. I guess some people never really find that or figure it out. But the weird thing is that she just accepts her illness. She accepts that she's going to take in her father's stead, right? With him gone, I'm just going to inherit his fucking mental state.
And then, just like that, it finally happened. For the
Her
first
genetics?
time in my life, I saw the world through my father's eyes. I was once told that insanity runs in my family. Let it come.
You can look at what happened and call it horror. You can say that the house was cursed, or that he went mad, or that the fire ruined everything, but none of that actually explains what really went wrong, not until you look at the next layer. Because what destroyed this family wasn't one event, it was the man slowly unraveling while everyone else around him had to live in his wreckage. He collapsed piece by piece, and each time a piece did fall, he painted over it. But this only drove him further insane, and even the doctor he pestered about his wife's skin grafts would state that he could have his assistant get him in touch with several specialists. Even that doctor could tell he needed psychological assistance. I mean, he heard rats every night, scratching, chewing, crawling behind walls. He set traps, poison, he called pest control, he tore up floorboards and plaster, and nobody ever found anything, because nothing was ever there. This was the moment that he should have asked for help, but he didn't. The painter was showing clear signs of psychosis, actual psychosis. He was having visual and auditory hallucinations. He began doubting reality. He started collecting body parts for a painting. This guy couldn't stop. He believed what he was doing mattered more than anything or anyone. To further this discussion, in psychiatry, hallucinations and delusions are two of the clearest symptoms of a psychotic break. His home became a maze. That isn't a metaphor, that is a reflection of the way that psychosis changes spatial perception, memory, and time. People in early stages of schizophrenia often report warped perceptions, things shifting out of place, voices that don't belong, and thoughts that loop. The game visualizes this literally, but it's based on how those conditions really feel. Before I continue, I want to emphasize, I don't think he has schizophrenia. Take my opinion with a grain of salt. I'm just a random guy on YouTube, but I will explain more in a moment. But the painter also presented paranoia. He believed the world was conspiring against him, that people, like his servants, were snooping around his studio. He thought
And the
doctors
doctors and
weren't
everything,
doing
yep.
anything to fix his wife. Psychosis doesn't always show up all at once. Sometimes it creeps in after loss, stress, or trauma. Not to mention, psychosis can also be triggered by alcohol misuse, and it also has a genetic component to it. Yes, a genetic predisposition may increase the likelihood of an individual being more vulnerable to psychosis. I don't know much.
Which I guess is what his daughter would eventually go through, possibly? Or just inheriting, again, his traits in general. How many hours have you streamed in the last 2 weeks? Well, we've been streaming about 12 to 13 hours a day for 300 plus days straight. She acknowledges it, but she doesn't seek help. Not even for the kid she has in the second ending. It's just confusing. Yeah. Well, are you aware of it, though? What if you're not aware of it? The dad wasn't really aware of it. He just kind of went with it, right? His whole world shattered. His life, his wife, everything he had going on just kind of fell apart, you know? At that point, maybe you just live in your own head and you give in to your delusions, right? He believed that the only way to get back to his prime was to have his wife brought back, right? To have her, you know, play the piano again, to look as beautiful as she did. It was his inspiration, right? Like, as he said, they bounced off each other. And once that went, then his livelihood went. Once his livelihood went, his status went. You know, people didn't want him anymore, right? And then he started abusing his kid. I guess it is interesting though. It's just one man's descent into madness, essentially, is what this game is. But also, I guess it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine, right? Like, I don't think. I guess in a way, maybe he viewed his wife as more of like an object. He even had like not a collar. He had like a muzzle for his dog and shit too. So like he was very controlling. He wanted his daughter to be, you know, taking his footsteps, right? You have to do this. It's got to be perfect. Like, you follow my orders. The lawyer's message. That had to do with, basically, he was threatening doctors to fix his wife, and he thought that they weren't doing it properly, and that if he kept harassing them, he'd go after him with like a lawyer, or he'd take him to court, basically, right? I think that's what it was, right? About being upset over yeah, this was a very. Let's keep watching this for now, but it's
beyond
interesting.
What we've talked about and his military service.
He did have military service too. I did see that. Yeah, so many medals.
In his drawers. So I know he's ex-military, and he also suffered an injury. I don't know the specifics,
prosthetic
but
with his leg.
He has a cane that we find on the side of his bed, and we also.
I thought he chopped his own leg off or some shit. This makes more sense though, for sure. He was ex-military, hurt his leg. He now limps around. The prosthesis was too much or whatever. I thought he was using himself to paint the picture, but again, knowing that like his wife was everything to him, and when she had been injured, that's when he snapped. because he could never go back to that same state that he was in, right? Like she played the music, she was beautiful, and that inspired him to kind of do his art and everything. And once that inspiration was gone, he tried everything he could to bring her back to that state for him. And so he would basically use her body parts to paint his canvas. I don't know where that came in exactly. Apparently she committed suicide in the bathroom, which again, I didn't understand that when I was playing, so I'm not sure if that's like 100% true, but yeah.
So here, a memory of when he and his wife bought the mansion, alluding to this.
This house is absolutely amazing. Oh, but those stairs. With that leg of mine, I think you'll have to carry me to the bedroom once we move in.
But back to Psychosis. The fire, the disfigurement, the failure of his career, those were all compounding triggers. He never went out of his way to get help. He never had time to process it either. Instead, he immediately drank. And I think that we all know that alcohol is never really a solution. It can worsen hallucinations, lower inhibition, increase impulsivity, and scramble memory. When he saw rats or heard whispers, he may have been flip-flopping between alcohol-induced episodes and a genuine psychosis. And so, it's easy to look at everything he went through and immediately think of schizophrenia, right? I think that's what a lot of people probably think of. That's usually the first word people go to when they hear about somebody losing touch with reality, hearing, or seeing things. But schizophrenia isn't and shouldn't be thrown around like a shortcut diagnosis, especially by random people on the internet. It's okay to theorize and have these discussions, but unlicensed individuals can't diagnose anyone, especially fictional characters. Schizophrenia is a specific, medically defined disorder with a very strict criteria. The painter doesn't meet them. According to the DSM-5, schizophrenia requires at least 2 of 5 key symptoms to appear for much of a 1-month period. At least one of those symptoms must involve delusions, hallucinations, or disorganized speech. The other possible symptoms include disorganized or catatonic behavior and negative traits like emotional flatness or loss of motivation. The big thing in order to qualify as schizophrenia, the overall disturbance must continue for at least 6 months. The painter definitely has hallucinations and delusions, that's not the question. He thinks he hears rats, he sees things that don't exist, he believes in twisted logic where mutilating a corpse will resurrect his family, but the problem is we have no confirmed timeline. We don't know how long these symptoms lasted. The game never says whether it was a single prolonged breakdown or if it was happening for years. Even if we assume he showed signs for months, we're still missing a clinical baseline. There is no psychiatric evaluation, no record of diagnosis, and no indication of a structured treatment plan. But another thing that I want to differentiate is that schizophrenia is a chronic illness that can include psychosis, but psychosis is just a symptom. And in the painter's case, the best evidence supports that he is experiencing a psychotic break, possibly triggered by grief, stress, alcohol use, or a pre-existing vulnerability. So we can't simply say that he just has that condition, but we can continue to point out the symptoms.
Everything kind of led to something, right? Like, again, when your whole world shatters around you, when everything you've known kind of falls apart, you'd probably break as a person. I don't think he was also good to begin with, though, you know, like the whole idea where he'd kind of control his daughter and be like, you got to do this, you got to do this. Like, that's a little bit cruel. You know, the same thing with the dog, right? He seemed to have abused the dog at one point when you enter the kitchen and the dog's there, and then he's like, get the fuck out of here, you mutt. And then they've also got, like, the muzzle that you find throughout the game. I don't think he was a good guy, but he definitely went off the deep end, for sure. And I guess that's the point of the whole game, right? You're just going through his psyche, everything that he's experiencing. So.
Presented. However, there is another complication. Alcohol. Long-term alcohol abuse, especially followed by withdrawal, can lead to something called alcohol-induced psychosis. It mimics the symptoms of schizophrenia almost perfectly. Hallucinations, paranoia, disorganized thinking, aggression, even memory loss. The difference
Which
is
of these do you have?
that it's
All of them.
temporary and directly caused by substance abuse. But, I mean, it gets even more complex, and I don't want to dive too much into it, but the painter drank constantly. He refused to stop. That makes it impossible to separate what was caused by a psychiatric illness versus what was worsened or created by addiction. So, no, it's not schizophrenia, not officially. The game also never names it, but I mean, let's be real, these games never really do. And the evidence doesn't meet the full diagnostic bar. What we do know is that he experienced severe, untreated psychosis with paranoid, hallucinatory, and delusional features. And he destroyed his family trying to make sense of it all through art. Also, just to touch on this too, he does present depressive symptoms. But
I wouldn't be
Move the
surprised.
conversation over to talk about his wife, because I think it's important that we give her attention too, because she was a victim of her husband. She was her own person. She achieved much success by herself.
True.
And her mental was deteriorated inside of a home where her value was slowly erased. The disfigurement that she suffered from wasn't only a physical thing, because it damaged her role in the family dynamic. Her husband's behavior made her feel like she failed him. That guilt sat under everything, causing her to erode. In relationships where one person becomes the other's creative or emotional anchor, a shift in appearance or ability can trigger a collapse in perceived worth. This aligns with the psychological concept of reflected appraisal, the idea that we form our self-image based on how we believe others see us. When her husband stopped showing her affection or admiration, she started to mirror that rejection inward, even to the point that she would accept him cheating on her. This was, of course, before or at the same time she began to detest him. But there was still that level of learned helplessness. She also experienced a loss of autonomy. Her role as a mother was compromised by her emotional instability. Her role as a musician was buried after the accident. Her role as a wife became strained.
What the fuck was that?
Drew.
Okay, first of all, the Ouija board was something we could never interact with. So what
Her
the
role as
363-853-3354?
a
Yes.
wife became strained as he withdrew. You see, when all of your points of identity are stripped away, the mind begins to look for things to blame. The most accessible place to assign that blame is yourself, inward. You believe that you are the problem, and low-key, the world has gaslit you into believing that you are. This pressure likely contributed to symptoms of major depressive disorder, including social withdrawal, diminished interest in previously enjoyed activities, and suicidal ideation. While the game doesn't use clinical language, her actions reflect the pattern: avoidance, isolation, and hopelessness. The fact that her suicide happens in a bathtub, quiet, solitary, and fucking unseen, underscores how invisible she had already become by that point. Again, I really want to hit on the fact that her husband ignored her existence. The knife was basically in his hands. Even after her death, her psychological presence remains as this haunting emotional residue. Her voice, her music, her silence exists in a home that echoes trauma, and her husband experiences this. So, by around a little past the middle of my playthrough, I had this aha moment where I knew that this wasn't a paranormal disturbance, or at least I didn't think that it was. For me, this was the emotional architecture of a woman who died believing that she was the reason that everything fell apart. But the daughter probably received the brunt force of everything, especially because she was just a child when this happened. If you've seen some of my videos talking about the psychology of children, whether it's Among the Sleep, Evil Holiday, or Out of Sight, then you may know that when kids experience anything, the effect and magnitude that they receive is often multiplied. And the way she's remembered tells you everything. In the base game, she's seen only through drawings, memories, and broken toys, but inheritance puts you in her shoes. It confirms what the original story implied. She was raised in a house where emotional needs were secondary to creative obsession. From a psychological standpoint, this creates the conditions for developmental trauma, a term used to describe prolonged emotional neglect or instability during the early stages of life. And again, this isn't strictly physical. It could be emotional, it could be mental. Over time, this warps identity formation, trust, and emotional regulation within your children. And she was surrounded by...
I guess, you know what I thought it was, though? I thought it was more of a genetic thing where, like, you can't really escape what you're disposed with, right? Like, the weird ending in the DLC where she ends up kind of exhibiting what her father had given her, the same attitude to her daughter. Would that be because that's what she knew and that kind of was instilled in her? Maybe, I guess that wouldn't really be a genetic thing. I don't think you're just, like, genetically acute to, like, perfectionism. How do you obtain, what is perfectionism usually a symptom of? Like, is that something that is, like an actual mental condition? Nature versus nurture. Well, for the sake of what she had gone through, I thought this was some sort of, like, mental thing that she inherited. I guess it was more of just how she kind of grew up.
Unreliability. Unfortunately, her mother, once nurturing, became distant after the accident. She became so depressed that she couldn't even give any more of herself. She had no capacity. She was incapable of it, even if she wanted to. And she wanted to. She recognized that she had a beautiful daughter, but she couldn't give it because she was so broken. And her father, when not drunk or lost in his fucked delusions, was volatile and unavailable too. The combination, absence from one parent, emotional instability from the other, can create what is called...
Well, the interesting thing is just the second and third ending of the DLC to round out the whole game. We can come to terms with the father being an absolute... His world fell apart, everything was shattered, his career was over, he tried to regain his sense of self, he completely, was disconnected from his family, and in his life, in his view, it was the only way to kind of bring everything back was to kind of use her remains to inspire his work, right? He was painting his magnum opus, his legacy, something that would, leave him for the ages to the next generation, yada, yada, yada. And, again, through all of that, he did go insane, but for the sake of his daughter, that's the question that I'm asking. That's what I want to know more about. Why does his daughter start to exhibit the shit that he had gone through? And again, maybe that was amplified by the alcohol or his life cracking and all these different things, right? He started hearing rats in the walls, and he hired exterminators to come through, and they found nothing as well. He started blaming others for not doing enough, thinking that, like, they were all conspiring against him. That does sound more of a mental, genetic thing, right? That other things kind of amplified. Yeah, exactly. It's a genetic thing. Yeah, for sure. That's what they tested in me for my heart. My mom has a condition, and so the guy had said, hey, we have to test for this as well. Yeah. Interesting.
Called a disorganized detachment style. Children raised in this environment may crave closeness but feel unsafe when they receive it. The emotional signals are mixed, and the child learns that love and fear come from the same place. I will say that again. The child learns.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I agree. That's what the story is, for sure.
Come from the same place. And for the daughter, it was her parents. It was this mansion. There is also evidence of internalized shame. The daughter references feeling like a burden or disappointing her parents, more so her father.
Where the fuck was this? I never found this.
Because they can't understand everything, they often don't just feel badly when things go wrong in their family. Many take on that blame themselves, and then they believe that they are inherently flawed because of the emotional debris their family left. in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if she blames herself for her mother's death, her father's failures, and for her being taken away from her family. But then we see that insanity really does run in her family.
Yeah, genetics.
Because returning to her house triggers the madness in her, the psychological illness that's in her DNA. But first, I want to point something out. I said that schizophrenia needs to show symptoms for at least 6 months. And in the Inheritance DLC, we see memories of multiple birthdays as the daughter grows up. So, at first glance, it might seem like this proves the father's hallucinations and breakdowns lasting across several years, but that's not what we're actually seeing. At least I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. But the Inheritance memories are hers. We're not inside of his mind anymore, we're inside of the daughter's. And those are childhood memories being reconstructed through an extremely emotional lens. None of them confirm what he was experiencing, only how she remembers it. And memory, especially traumatic memory, is not clinical record. It's filtered through emotion, perception, and age. And that's important, because for a schizophrenia diagnosis, the symptoms have to be objectively observed or documented in the person being diagnosed. We need to see that he was hallucinating or delusional over a long continuous span. But the only time we directly experience his hallucinations is in the main game. And that all seems to take place in one fractured episode, likely near the end of his life.
Yeah.
What Inheritance does confirm is that the daughter was...
Well, the interesting thing, too, at the very end of the game, at the very end of his life, that final bit that you experience is one of many episodes that he had gone through. Did you see how many paintings he had at the very end of the game? There's an entire room of him trying to basically capture his old self, right? All of those versions of his wife that he's painted, and he's like, this is not good, yada, 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 yada. He's gone through that, if I'm not mistaken, countless times, right? And I think for him to finally go through that last one that you played through was like the final nail in the coffin, if I'm not mistaken. Like he, after that point, he was done completely. He just snapped. But then again, wasn't there an ending? There was an ending that we got where he went through it again, and it was almost like a cycle, right? I guess that's what okay, wait. There was 3 endings to the base game. The one that we got was him continuing the cycle. There was another one where he, instead of painting his wife, he paints himself. And then it ends up in a gallery, which I guess at the end of the day, that's truly all he wanted. Not to capture himself, but to more so be remembered, right? Back in his prime, he's like, this is all I want. This is my magnum opus. And then the other ending was the one where he accepts it and he burns with his family, right? I don't know, man. The endings are a little bit weird. For me, it's this guy who's, again, stuck in a loop of, like, absolute grief and torment, and everything he's gone through, he just can't accept it. You know, so he tries to, like, get back to his prime. He tries to relive it and do it properly, but in the end, he just can't accept anything. And it just drives him insane. Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
Impacted for years. Her long-term trauma reflects emotional neglect and instability. So what makes it even more complicated, and might actually further substantiate my point, is that she may also be mentally unwell.
Yeah.
Because the true ending of Inheritance shows the daughter continuing the cycle. She inherited his pathology. The way her memories distort reality, the way she talks to herself, and her complete immersion into the emotional wreckage all suggest that she's not a stable narrator.
I don't really like that ending. It's for a horror game, it's like, oh, fuck, there's really no out of this, is there? Everything is just awful. Again, I still prefer the second ending, even though she basically starts showing signs, again, of her father. So, like, is it going to be another scenario where she's controlling, and then maybe, like, her husband ends up being her muse, her, like, inspiration, and then she becomes a painter, but, like, you know, the cycle starts anew, but with a whole family of traumas instead of just, like, her own personal trauma. Right, she doesn't drag more people into it like the father did.
The game does heavily
I
imply
guess so.
that the same breakdown that consumed her father is now unfolding in her,
Yeah.
which means we can't fully trust what we see through her perspective either. Again, just to recap and emphasize, I don't think it's schizophrenia, and we can't confirm it. The biggest things are duration of symptoms is not confirmed, and there are other possible alternative diagnoses that fit better. But this all exposes how deeply the damage ran, and how generational trauma.
The subtlety in the second one is much better.
But
I
also
agree.
replicates.
I agree. That's
However,
a cursed
you might be
ending.
wondering if I'm going
Yeah.
to address the book in the room. The novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, which appears physically in multiple places throughout the game. There's even specific paintings that also visually resemble the portrait of Dorian from some adaptations of Wilde's story. This is a nod to the game's interest in the relationships between art and psychological decay. In the novel, Dorian remains physically unchanged while a portrait of him becomes increasingly disfigured as a result of his moral corruption. In the game, the painter experiences a breakdown that accelerates with each failed attempt to create the perfect image of his wife, his attempt to immortalize the mortal and keep things perfect and beautiful. The comparison works on a thematic level, but it also opens up a psychological interpretation about repression and distortion. The concept of projection, as defined by Freud in 1894, explains this. Projection occurs when a person externalizes their unwanted thoughts or emotions onto someone or something else. In the novel, the portrait absorbs Dorian's conscience. In the game, the canvas becomes a container for the painter's guilt and denial. His repeated failures are psychological. Each one.
You know, this is the portrait of his wife. And she is missing the eye. And she is missing her flesh. I mean, that is, if that was true, though, I never picked up on that. If that was true that he was literally using his wife to kind of paint the canvas of her, I mean, this guy was, like, really fucked. Right? I thought it was his own blood. I thought he was kind of putting his own blood, sweat, and tears into his work. But at the end of the day, he wasn't really his own inspiration. His wife was. And now with his wife gone. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is, and his hair. I thought that was the daughter's hair for some reason. Because I think you find it in, like, the daughter's room. And I'm like, oh, shit, really? Or somewhere around there?
Reflects something that he's not willing to admit to himself.
So there's the flesh, the blood, the bone. So he ground up her bones. I needed to remove the flesh from the bone at first. I was lost. Yeah, you know what? It must have been. For some reason, we had theorized that, like, even though it was explained to us, but we're dense, we had theorized that, like, he used his own leg for his art, but that's bullshit because he was in the military. When you're up in the bedroom, you get the note, or not in the bedroom, it was in a hallway where you find the cane smashed into a portrait, and it was like, oh, I can't get up the stairs with my leg, but this house is lovely. So clearly, his leg was an injury of his military service. So this was really, yeah. This was a special brush, like a horsehair brush, but different. At that point, I hesitated. Will this really work? Fuck it, I was already halfway through, and besides, it's not like I can just put it all back and forget the whole thing. So he was chopping his wife up completely, and he's like, I was already halfway through. It's not like I can just put it all back and forget the whole thing. Yeah, so he was halfway through mutilating his wife after she killed herself. His service damaged his mental state. Maybe it was brought on by military service, but nothing in the game suggested that. I don't think I saw anything personally. Yeah, no, that is...
That he destroyed the very thing he once claimed to love. But the physical presence of Wilde's book in the house connects these ideas more directly. It suggests that the painter has read it or identified with it. The choice to include it in the game shows that Bloober intended to draw a clear line between Wilde's story and the
What does his dead wife look like?
house connects these ideas
I wish
more
I could see the
directly.
character model of,
it
like, the
suggests
wife.
that the painter has read it or identified with it. The choice to include it in the game shows that Bloober intended to draw a clear line between
Her eye's gone, yeah, same side.
Wilde's story and the painter's own collapse. However, speaking about painters, this game on
And I think her hair was also
screen
shorter.
has ruined gaming for me. It set the bar so high that I find it difficult to enjoy other games now, and it also has painters dealing with trauma, so
Play Red Dead 2.
click that and let me know your
This game was good. Honestly, I think that video sums up things just fine. And then for my own take on it as well, what a cursed game. What a very precise and cursed game. I like that it doesn't really pull you out of the narrative. It doesn't pull you out of the setting and kind of have all these different things going on that kind of led to it. Everything was very localized. Again, very Still Wakes the Deep. Where it's just a very contained problem. I liked it. I think I'm going to rate this game exactly as I rated Still Wakes the Deep. Of course, psychological games typically have more going on. They're more thought out. But I did enjoy it quite a bit, and I think the narrative in itself was, like, good. I'm going to give it a 7.5. Still Wakes the Deep in DLC. I'm going to give it a 7.5. 7.5, I think, is completely fair for this game, honestly. And it's DLC, because the DLC does finish out the story. Of Fear. Let's see. 7.5. Sure. Interesting. So that was a game by the Bloober team, who created... didn't they do Silent Hill F? Whoever wrote... Who the fuck? Hang on. Oh, no. It wasn't Silent Hill F. They did Chronos: The New Dawn. That's what they did. That was an original game by them. And this was also an original game by them. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Yeah, it wasn't written by them, though. It was more so remastered by them, like recreated. Because that story has been out for a while, right? The narrative, I'm sure, is still the same, but they just kind of made the game new. Halloween Day. I liked it. Solid game, cursed story. You know, when your livelihood collapses, when everything starts to fall apart, and Guy wasn't really that good of a person to begin with, I suppose. Maybe he was at some point, but you really, at the end of it all, you kind of just feel sad for everyone. Like, taking up the drinking, the abuse with the kid, the dog, the wife no longer being able to play, or, you know, have her be as externally beautiful, right? Like, everything was pretty fucking sad in this game. There is no happy ending for anyone here. The wife, the daughter, father, everything sucked. Damn. Well, folks, I'm going to give it a 7.5. Now that we understand it, now that we get it, Slender, 5.5. Slender's a bit of a different experience. Slender, I wish, had more lore, but Slender's very, very... It's a very crude thing where there just isn't enough going on to make it as interesting as it should be. It's a game that you want to know more about, and they're not giving you more, which is kind of lame. But that's... Yeah, I don't know. Slender's all right. But YouTube, we are done with Layers of Fear, and its DLC. I heard you weren't feeling good. Oh, we're good now, sir. Our head's still a little bit weird, but we are feeling much better. Thank you, man. So that's going to be it then, folks. That is Layers of Fear. Sec. That is going to be, yeah, Layers of Fear and Inheritance DLC. So the next time we're online for YouTube, we will be doing Layers of Fear Part 2. So this is the second game. And I think this sets up a pretty good picture of what went on and maybe what's to come. Apparently, it's in the same universe, but we'll see tomorrow. So we're not going to play Layers of Fear tonight, the second game, because I don't think I can finish it in less than 4 hours. So we are going to be playing it tomorrow. All right, so YouTube, take care. That was Layers of Fear, and we'll be on tomorrow for part 2. Or, sorry, game 2. Peace, folks. Yeah, I think I do like